Well, what is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Hump Day Hotline. Hump Day! It's the return. It's the return of your boys, Joe and JSpencetheKing.
What up,
man? It's so good to see you. Hump Day Hotline on the Buffalo Rumblings vidcast network, brought to you by the Market Dominator. I am one of the co-hosts of the Hump Day Hotline. My name is Joe Miller. That over there is my guy, JSpencetheKing. JSpence, how are you?
Man, I'm good. I'm feeling some kind of way. You didn't tell me, you're the voice now. Like, your name down there is just the voice. So, I got my handle. I got to change it. I got to do it.
I threw it up there. I'm changing it right now. I threw it up. I threw it up there.
You don't have to change it. I'm just saying, I got to be in uniform with you, man. We got to do this.
I threw it up there a couple weeks ago. I'll just leave it up there as Jose.
You're Jose?
How's that work? Is that okay? So it's been so long. I feel like we need to get to know each other again. Like we need to have the 20 questions, or what's your favorite thing in life? What do you hate?
It's been that long?
It's been a minute. It's been a couple weeks. Because I was out, right, and then you were out, and I think there were some other trips in there where I missed. Man, oh man, it's good to see you. There was a week before Thanksgiving. Do we do the one before Thanksgiving? I don't think we did, right? Or you had somebody on with you.
Man, I'm gonna be honest. Right now, the last 4 weeks is like a blur. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Yeah. I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, we've missed a bunch, but it's good to see you, everybody. Welcome into the Hump Day Hotline, where we are going to have a conversation on this Wednesday just about everything, whatever's going on around the NFL, around the Buffalo Bills. We're also going to talk a little bit about the Bills-Bucs game, and we're going to look forward a little bit, if we have time, to the Bills-Carolina game, which we should. But speaking of the Bills-Bucs, how's that sitting with you? I watched your show last night, but where are you at on Wednesday?
Well, to be honest, I wasn't even too upset last night when I did the code of conduct. So right after the game, I had my moment where it's just I hate the refs. Just straight out, look, I hate the refs. And normally I'm not the guy I try not to be the guy that puts any blame on the officials. It's look, if we lost the game, we lost the game.
Right.
There's been years and seasons upon seasons where guys have, teams have lost games before they had the replay and before they had all this stuff to where it was even worse.
Right.
So I try not to complain, but it just hurts when you see the effort that the team put in. You see how Josh Allen came, he willed that team to overtime, so to see how even with the defense, because if you really look at it, it was a tale of two halves. So the first half, it almost seems like the defense just wasn't there.
They played complimentary football in the first half and the second half. The defense offense sucked in the first half. The defense offense were good in the second half.
Absolutely. So when you look at the first half and you're like, okay, we're gonna get we're going to get the brakes beat off of us. Then they turn it around in the second half and they barely give up any points and they barely give up any yards. And then you look at the offense and they're playing phenomenally. It hurts to see the game come down to a decision like it did with going to Diggs and the no call to Diggs. And then, the one was egregious. Both of them were ridiculous, but the one in the end zone where the guy literally had the front of his jersey.
Yeah.
I get it. From one angle, you're looking at where the official's standing, where the ref is standing, and you can't see it. He's behind the player.
Right.
So I get that. But no, man. So one of the things that I've been impressed with the NFL this season, and I don't know how many times you've caught this, but there's been times where a play or a call is made on the field and they don't even have to review it or they don't even have to huddle, but the ref from New York or the ref upstairs calls down and says, wait, nope, that was horrible.
Right.
And in my mind, that was just going to happen. And when it didn't happen, it was just so frustrating. And the officials still haven't gone on Twitter or on Instagram. They haven't made an official statement. They haven't apologized. So they're just standing by this call as if it was
good.
That's where my anger is. My anger is. But as far as the team, man, and I feel like that was a long answer, so I'll wrap this up.
No, you're
as
good.
Far as the team, I'm very, regardless if Chris Broussard likes it or not, I'm very impressed with my team and I'm proud of my team. I don't find any moral victories here. I'm not saying it okay, yeah, we're good. We got the L and we're happy with it.
Right.
No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the way that first half started, you and I just talked about, and then the way the game ended.
Yeah.
I'm 100%. I feel so much better. I feel better about my team after that loss than I did going into the game.
Yeah, the ref thing for me is interesting because obviously, not for those that that are listening or watching that didn't know, I was at the game. For those of you that knew that, then I'll say it again. I was at the game. The ref piece for me was interesting because it wasn't just those two. Got to love that the Mafia donated money to a visual impairment organization in honor of the NFL refs. I think it's up to $40,000.
Yeah,
it's 40
that.
grand.
That's insane.
There's no fan base like the Mafia. But it wasn't just the one. I mean, in the stadium, the reaction to the crowd in the stadium when Diggs got interfered with. But more so than that, I remember being in the stadium, and it was inside of a minute, I think. And if you go back and watch the last 2 minutes, the Bills are in. They're in Buccaneer territory. I think what's up, Amanda? I think they're inside the 30. I'm not exactly sure where on the field, but they're in a rush. They're out of timeouts completely. And a play happens. I don't remember the player, gives the ball to the ref, and the ref is literally walking back to the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
There was no urgency. There was no rush. It wasn't like they were in a 2-minute drill for the game. What's up, Kristen Kimmick? Kristen was there. She knows what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
The whole, and I think what's interesting is I have not. Thank you, Matt. Matt says awesome hoodie. Thank you. I've not had.
I'm throwing you off. I was just acknowledging everybody where you were going.
You're good. I love it. I love it. So it's my ADD squirrel. What's interesting? You can keep doing it. What's interesting about the game, because I didn't get to watch it back yet, is everybody told me that Gene Steratore, they brought him on for the Diggs one, and they were like, that was absolutely pass interference. And then the Mike Evans one, where Mike Evans grabs Levi Wallace's helmet, reaches around, grabs him, and rips him to the ground. Then he says that was not pass interference. Like, he initiated contact, pulled the defender into him, and then threw him to the ground. Like, the whole entire sequence. And then to see everybody come out afterwards on Monday, to the point of like verified people. I don't care if this makes the NFL mad at me. That game was flat out called one-sided, and it's undeniable. And I think that was from the ref standpoint. I think that was really surprising, because we've talked about it before as Bills fans about us not getting calls or things not going our way. And this time, everybody, like they talked about it on GR this morning. In the third quarter or in the fourth quarter, it was the highest rated game of the season. There was 26 million people watching, I think, in the fourth quarter of that football game. So the world was watching that game, and the world watched what the refs did.
And you know what? The part that makes me upset about it is how many times do we have to have moments that the world can see it and it still not get fixed? Because you can go back to, the New Orleans, when New Orleans lost, what was it, the NFC Championship or whatever game it was? It was a playoff game, I feel like, too.
Former Nickel Roby. It was a former Buffalo Bill that did it.
And it's like you just keep it. So we just have these connections back to Buffalo, but you keep seeing it where the referees just make these egregious calls or non-calls. Mm-hmm. And it's like at some point something has to give. And I know people have made suggestions over the years, and I'm sure I'm not the first one to kind of climb up this tree, but look, officials need to be fined as well, make the officials come and sit in front of reporters, just like the play. So put Jerry Sullivan in front of the officials from the game. If he wants to be rude to my guy, I'm just saying, ask them. Are you embarrassed that you completely ruined a game?
Right.
By making a phantom call or not making a call. Right. Like, are you embarrassed by that? Instead of it being Jordan Poyer and Mike Hyde, let's get it to somebody who deserves that negative energy. Like it was ridiculous, man. But
Agreed.
Like I said, all in all, I feel better about the team after the game than I did going into it.
And that would be my wrap up. So my wrap up, and I've said it a couple times this week, at the end of the first half, I was like, yep, this is what I expected. Like, I expected the Bills to come out flat and not have a decent offense. I didn't expect the defense to play like that, but that's just kind of that's what I expected. So the second half completely blew my expectations away. The fact that they nutted up and they gutted it out, and they stared the Bucs in the face, and they did what they did against Tom Brady. Both sides of the ball, it was fantastic. There's a couple calls there I didn't like, but I can deal with that. They completed the comeback. They were down by 3 possessions twice. Not that they came back twice from 3, but they were down by 3, closed it to 2, down by 3 again, and then came all the way back, which was great. So, no, I mean, for me, and the whole weekend was fantastic as well. But it was the game. I can't wait. That one I'm really excited to put behind me. I want to get onto the Carolina Panthers and win a football game, because losing 2 in a row is something we haven't done in a long time, and it just feels a little weird. You know what I mean? Like, it just feels, it's just strange being here to 7-6. It's just odd.
For me, it's not even weird. For me, it is weird, but I think I'm just more frustrated with it's such extremes on both sides of the fan base,
Yeah.
because you on one hand you got guys like me who are saying like, and I'm probably a little too positive, like maybe I am a little too positive, but because I'm like I'm the living version of that meme where the guy is like sitting at the table and he's like, this is fine, and it's fire all around. Like that's me right now, because I'm looking at the Bills and I'm like, but look, we got Josh and we got Diggs and we got this and we got that, and but at the same time, like you said, we lost to the Patriots at that. So, there's things that obviously are wrong. But then at the same time, you have another side of it where everybody's just like, okay, fire McDermott. We got to get rid of Dayball. Josh is not the. I saw somebody actually. I saw an actual take where somebody said Josh Allen really, and they were dead serious that Josh Allen is not the guy. And you know what? It's actually like it's a good thing in a weird way. It's a blessing in disguise that he's kind of experiencing an injury right now, so we can see what we have in Mitchell Trubisky.
You knew that was coming. You knew it was coming, right?
But it was a real. It wasn't like the normal fan like, oh, let's see the backup. It wasn't that. It was like a real
like an important
educated.
Person?
Yes, like somebody verified who I trust, and I was just like, "Holy smokes, what are you doing here?" Like that, just it's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching and tuned into the Hump Day Hotline. We are Super Chat Live, by the way. So if you've got something you want to say or a comment, a question, the loss. Wait, which loss? The Bucs lost or the Patriots lost? He's saying the Bucs lost sparked the whole team.
Either way, for me, I feel like we've had this conversation too. I'm agreeing with Rich, and I hope that this loss has sparked the team. But I feel like we have this conversation and this comment too often. It's been 6 times this year, and last year we only had it 3 times.
Right.
So at this point, man, like I really, honest to God, I feel like we can't afford to lose any more games. There's no.
Go ahead. No, there's no.
Well, I was gonna say there's no week 17 or now week 18 because of the way the schedule is. There's no final game. You sit your starters and you could care less if we win or lose. No, you have to win each of these last games.
Win them
every single one.
To that point, the second half. Pam has a comment in here, says the second half was the team they used to be, and it's interesting because I sent that note to you today for something to talk about. What do you think it is? What is the difference? Because we saw it, Patriots game. It's not an outlier because the Patriots game. You want to call it an outlier because of the winds, 50 mile an hour gusts, constant 20, 25 miles an hour. But they did it in that game too. It got to the fourth quarter and then they started to let Josh rip. And then in this game. And what's funny is I'm arguing with other content creators on Twitter about these numbers and these statistics, and the pass run ratio is exactly the same. And they're not any more pass first in the second half as they were in the first half. They're the same pass first team this year as they were last year. Like there's people that are just pulling these numbers and they're like, it's the DVOA is the same. Like everything is. Josh Allen's completions are the same. His yards are up. His touchdowns. What are you talking about? Like they're the same exact team, and it's like my eyes tell me something completely different.
It's the classic argument, right? Like the analytics versus the eye test. Like it's Moneyball in football form right now that we're talking about, and it's annoying. It's annoying because just like you and just like me, we sit there and watch the game, and we see on 2nd and 9, we try to run the ball, and it's then 3rd and 7, and we're not successful this year on plays longer than 6 yards on 3rd down. Like that's a so if you're talking these stats, that's the stat, that's a reality. But on the other hand, when you look at the just like straight up numbers with no context, they are a pass first team and they are this and they are that. But situationally, it doesn't mean that they're because just like, and this is the point that I try to make about statistics. When you look at that Patriots game, it's not often that you're going to see a team only give up 16 yards in the air. Like, so that made the Buffalo Bills look like an all-time great passing defense. Like no team in history is nowhere near as good as this Buffalo Bills passing defense because they only gave up 16 yards to the New England Patriots.
Right.
That's not exactly an accurate statement. Now, if you want just looking at the numbers and you're just saying, well, if you look at the stats, Joe, then of course they're the best passing. Okay. Yeah. If you look at the stats, it really helped our averages and we completely were crushing the rest of the league when it comes to that. But in reality, we understand the context behind that. Yeah. It wasn't that they only gave up 16. So same thing. It's like you look at the stats, but we need good run plays. We need efficient run plays. We need to be efficient on third down. We need to be efficient in the red zone. That is the conversation. It's not like, well, if you look at the numbers, they're running the exact same amount of times that they ran last season. Right. No, Greg. And I'm saying Greg. That's me saying Greg. No, Greg. Come on. I love Greg. Shout out to Greg.
I kept that on the rep. So, and you know, getting back to it though, what is the difference between that first half offense and that second half offense? Because even when you look at it, and I've been hammering the coaching. I've not been saying fire Daboll. I have said Daboll's not getting a head coaching job after this season, at least not with this performance, in my opinion. But something is going on in the coaching ranks. And the reality is this. I watched because I was at the game and I had the opportunity to see the Bills played against not a lot of cover 2 in the first half of that football game. And they were throwing a lot of screen passes in the first half of that football game. So there was, I don't care what they're doing. We're going to do the side to side thing. And the Buccaneers were not in a cover 2 shell, which is what you think that they probably planned the Buccaneers to be in, but they weren't. And when I talked to Fina about it on Monday, Fina's like, yeah, when you get 5, 6, 7 plays into it and you start realizing what they're going to do against you, if your plan doesn't match that, then you turn the card and you go with something different. And then in the second half, they're a completely different offense. Josh Allen is dipping and diving and evading the rush and chucking the ball. The ball's coming out on time. Like it's like he's 3 steps or taking a shotgun snap, 1 step, throwing the football. The ball was coming out. It was going long. He was the intermediate throws were back. I just don't know what the difference is between the first half and the second half. And I want to know if I'm going to get to see that for a full game going forward. Like, am I going to get to see the second half for the full game? Or are we still going to try this whole conservative, let's not risk too much stuff and then we're going to pull the trigger when we have to? Like what is it? And what are we going to see?
Well, gosh, I hope not. Seriously, I hope not. Because the thing is, we're running out of time. We can't keep trying to figure out how to get there. We can't figure out we got to be there.
Yep.
And shout out to Pam. She wants to know, and this is part of the conversation that we were just having. I'm not on the side where I'm looking to fire a head coach or offensive coordinator. And I know you just said Daboll probably won't get a head coaching job next season. I disagree. And we could talk about that in a second. But Pam wants to know when is the point that you say fire Daboll? To me, this offense, now I'm about to sound like a hypocrite because I just went on that whole rant about analytics versus the eye test. Yeah. But if you look at where the Buffalo Bills stand as an offense, they're nowhere near. They're not even the bottom half of the league. So they're still a very good offense. Josh Allen's numbers look very similar. It just doesn't feel that way. A, because we're losing. B, because he has a few more turnovers. He has some interceptions that he doesn't, that we shouldn't have. So it doesn't feel like it. And the run game isn't, but it wasn't successful last year.
Yeah,
I'm still very high on Brian Daboll. I think that we're just passionate as a fan base. Got a super chat here.
Let me finish. You can leave that up there, but you can always but that though, and the but to that as far as, and I know we can live here for a couple minutes. The but to that is like Tyler Bass is the leading scoring kicker inside the 20-yard line. Mm-hmm. He's leading the league in kicks inside the 20-yard line because the Bills are horrible in the red zone. They're horrible in the red zone. There's just things about this offense that aren't the same. And I've heard rumors that there is turmoil between McDermott and Brian Daboll. So I'm not saying fire Brian Daboll now, but that doesn't mean that somebody has to answer if they don't make the playoffs or if they get bounced in the first round on a year that they should have gone to the Super Bowl at least. The goal was the Super Bowl. Somebody has to be held accountable, whether it's an offensive line coach, whether it's the offensive coordinator. They're not talking about there's rumors out there that Ken Dorsey's going to get plucked. So they might not have an opportunity to fall on him as far as to rely on him. It's just, go to Payton, who I got to meet this weekend, which was great. I got to meat Payton, which was awesome. But go ahead.
Before we do though, because I'm with you, and we're gonna keep your super chat up for a second there. We're gonna get to it, I promise. The thing is though, even still with saying that, you're right. The expectation was to be there. And I think for me though, that's the problem with expectations going into the season.
Sure.
You have to play every week because we've been the team where we weren't as good on paper as other teams, and we've gone in, or they've come into Orchard Park and we beat them, and we've been the spoilers for playoffs, and we've done all this stuff over the years. Now teams wake up to play the Buffalo Bills. So these 6 losses, look, it's going to happen. I just don't know if I feel that we can really let the team kind of fall apart or fire the coaches or fire. Like, I don't think somebody has to quote unquote answer. I think this is so if we don't get where we wanted to go, I think this is the year where it's like, okay, now they're on the hot seat. I don't think this year, at least for me, after coming off the year that we came off of and then going into this year, okay, we didn't meet our expectations. Okay, this is your warning. To me, that's where it is. I don't think it should be at a point where we're like, we didn't make it. Somebody has to fall on the sword. Like, I don't think it has to be there.
I promise you, if we lose to the Carolina Panthers, you and I are talking about who's getting fired next week.
Okay. I mean, we probably will be talking about that. I just think it's
whether it's Bobby Johnson, the offensive line coach, the defensive line coach, right? It's somebody is going, because, and it goes back to that Patriots game, which you and I haven't even had a chance to talk about. That Patriots game where McDermott looked completely different on the sideline than he has ever looked before. And he looked like a guy who saw the season slipping away in that game on the sideline.
I feel like the pressure is getting to him. That's what it seems like to me. Like you go through a season from last year where we only lose 3 games and we kind of run through the AFC East. We run through everybody except the top 2 teams. And, so we ran through everybody and we just made it work. And now you're either blowing teams out or you're not winning. Like, it's one of it's 2 extremes. And I think he's feeling the pressure. And I think this is the year. Like, okay, dude, but now you see how real it is to be the hunted.
But it also comes down to they were blowing teams out last year because they knew that defense wasn't good enough.
So
they were coming out guns blazing. This is
my problem. This should be the topic of conversation with all content creators. This should be the topic of conversation with the coaching staff, with the GM, with the ownership. If that is the case, what does our defense have to do with our offense? I get it. They have to play complementary football. But what I'm saying is, why does your offense decide I'm going to play better or harder because the defense is lacking? Why shouldn't it just be that you come out and play your ass off regardless if your defense is good or bad?
It's an expectation from an offense. We're talking offense only. So the expectation on the offense is we are going to have to score 31 points to win this football game every week versus, Brian says to McDermott, whoever the conservative one is, says our defense can probably hold this team to 14. All we need to do is score 21. Let's Dick Duran this thing and limit possessions and get out of this game quick with the W.
See, that's a problem to me. If you have the offense,
it is a problem
to go and bust ass. You go out there and bust ass every week. Like, to me, there's no question. Sorry, mom is in the room. I'm sorry, mom.
So's mine. Now my mom's
offended. I was talking about your mom. That's
okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry, mom. But if you have the ability, if you have the team, which is why I posted a couple weeks ago after the Patriots game.
Yeah.
It's inexcusable to have an offense with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders, Gabriel Davis, Dawson Knox. It is inexcusable to score 10 points in a game.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, it just doesn't make sense. So when that happens, you have to look at yourself. I don't care what kind of defense we have.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're right. We can hold teams to 14. It doesn't matter. You come out and you embarrass teams. The whole point of building a roster like this is to go out and win games. Not to sit here and be, I don't get it. But let's get to this because we can keep going on this topic forever.
Yep.
Peyton says, maybe we are similar, but other teams are better. COVID opt-outs, etc., might be enough to tilt things the way we've seen this year a bit. I don't know. You think it might be enough to tilt things?
I don't have an answer for that. I mean, I don't know. I'm not necessarily, and is that what you really want to rely on? I mean, if we're talking about COVID opt-outs, is that where we're at?
Yeah.
Or people coming back? Matthew Judon is good, right? Star coming back is great. It's helped us. We can start throwing darts at the dartboard all over the place as to what it is, whether it's, you want to talk about fans in the stands or not in the stands.
I don't know, Peyton. I'm sorry. I can't quite answer this because I don't know, man. I don't know. We got another one from Triggs here. It says Dayball. He says he's stubborn with the play calling. Look, I don't know if it's now, and I'm sure it's not the popular opinion amongst because nobody co-signed me on this, which is fine. But when I said out there like, hey, it's time to give Josh the keys and just let him drive. Like, just give him the playbook during the week and let him call his plays during the game. I'm sure nope, it wasn't the popular take, but here's the reason why I say this. When you see Josh go into his superstar mode, and I'm not talking about the quote unquote sugar high Josh. I'm talking about when Josh is on and he's feeling it.
Yeah.
It seems like it doesn't matter what play is called, Josh is going to make it work. But the way Josh gets into those plays is when Daboll calls some plays to get him into that rhythm. We haven't seen that this year. We just haven't seen many games where Josh goes out and gets 3 or 4 receptions to start the game and he looks hot and the offense is just I mean, last season I feel like we scored every opening drive.
It was 22. It was a 22 game stretch that broke on the Colts game and they haven't done one since.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like now we're having it where we can't even score in the first quarter.
Right.
We're having it. We were up at the half a certain amount of games for back to back to back, and now we're going into halftime down, and we're going into halftime being blown out by the Bucs. Like what? This just isn't the same thing. So I agree that the play calling needs to be a little more aggressive, a lot more aggressive for Josh.
Yeah.
One more, and then you jump on this one because I feel like I'm talking a lot. The reason why
I love it. I love it, dude. I've missed your voice, so this is great.
Well, and I know you're a little tired too. You've been hustling, man. You've been hustling.
I'm good.
But Trick says again, the reason why he was being aggressive last year on 4th downs is because our defense wasn't good. So it's not like he wanted to. He just had no choice. And again, and I guess for me, no, go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
No, he had no choice. The problem is he still has no choice. He's 7-6, and he's 7-6 because they're being conservative and they feel like they can rely on that defense. And the defense hasn't been. It's funny because the offense hasn't been reliable because they're playing conservative and they're not doing their part. And the defense hasn't been reliable because they're giving 4 40+ yard touchdown runs. A guy breaking a 50-yard touchdown run in the NFL is rare. The Bills have let it happen 4 times this year against 4 different teams. It's rare. It does not happen. You play fantasy. You know, it rarely happens that a dude rips off a 47-yarder, a 57-yarder, or 75-yard touchdown run. The Bills have let up 4 of them this year. 4.
Now, in the Buffalo Bills defense on that, and this is where I go back to saying I'm the meme with the guy just like sitting in the fire saying this is fine. In their defense, every team doesn't have a Jonathan Taylor. Every team doesn't have a Derrick Henry. So like the teams that it's happened against have been the teams with the stud running back.
Leonard Fournette.
Leonard Fournette is a whole lot better of a running back than it seems like a lot of people in Buffalo want to give him credit for.
He wasn't great last year. Who was the other one? Who's the 4th one?
Year
Damian Harris.
Last year it wasn't great.
I'll give you Travis Henry. I'll give you Derrick Henry. I'll give you Jonathan Taylor. Those are still misses on the defense. I mean, those were gaps that weren't sealed.
I mean,
pursuit. But Damian Harris. I mean, that's the longest run of his career. The one against Derrick Henry was the longest one of his career. The one that just happened with Leonard Fournette, that was the longest run. I can't remember what they said. It was another one that like they haven't had a run this long, and I don't know how long it's been. Like
Derrick Henry's had longer than 75 yards.
I thought it was either the longest or the second longest rush he's ever had in his career.
It may have been the second, but I mean, there's a play that plays every single week that I see when he runs through the whole NFL. Like he basically ran through the whole team.
The TV plays next week. TV plays.
He stiff-armed everybody. But I'm trying to remember the game. But it was like it's one of the longest plays of his career or it has to be the longest because it's like from the 10-yard line and he literally stiff arms like 5 guys down to the end zone. The point
was relying on this defense and you can't. And the funny thing is they're not able to rely on the offense either because it's when you're working out, right? So you go to the gym and you're working out and there's a mindset when you get there. If you take a pre-workout shake or you don't take a pre-workout shake, but there's a mindset and you generally fall into the flow of the workout that you're doing. There's no point in the workout where you're 45 minutes in and you've already kind of been lollygagging where you're like, you know what, I'm going to pick it up for the last 15 minutes. You don't. You finish the way you started. But if you come in with energy and you come in like, I'm going to kick the crap out of this workout, you've got that energy through the whole football game. And maybe that's a bad analogy, but it just seems like it's hard to just be like, and turn it on. It's almost impossible to be like, okay, now go out there and sling it all over the yard. I just
hate the idea that it seems like we have to fight to come back in order for us to look like we want to play. And that's what it's been looking like for me. I want to come out from the very so when we win or lose the toss and we either get the ball first or we get it second or whatever, whenever we get the ball, however we get the ball, I need us to be turned up the entire time.
Yeah,
I need that energy to be where it, like from the very beginning of the game, I needed to be where Josh Allen is ready to run through people, to punch people in the mouth and throw touchdowns. That's what I need to see.
I just want to address this from Pam. Pam's comment. Almost every team we lost to had a strong defense. I don't give a crap. And the reason that I don't give a crap is because the Bills played 8 or 9 of the top 10 defenses last year and beat, I think, every one of them. Like even that 8-game tear that they went on, they included all the, like, this offense is not like, it's not kryptonite for the Bills. This offense, they returned 10 of 11 starters. Good defenses are not kryptonite to this offense. They're just not. It's coaching, preparation, execution, right? It's play calling. We can move on. It's been a fun conversation. I don't want to be negative all night long. This is a fun topic, and we can talk about the one that Peyton brought up, just about the COVID situation in the NFL right now, because let's be honest, as much as the Bills are clear and clean right now, and which is interesting because of the whole Cole Beasley piece that happened in the beginning of the season. And for those of you that don't know, I probably should have prefaced it like this. There's a big outbreak in the NFL right now amongst the players with COVID. So testing positive. The Rams are in like a heightened state of protocols. The Browns are in a heightened state of protocols. Baker Mayfield has COVID. Stephen, what's his last name? Stefanski, right? Stefanski has COVID. All that to say this.
Everybody got COVID. I'm just saying it's a long list.
Everybody but the Bills. Like, which is funny because like Twitter and social media was blowing up about this whole concept and idea that, like, you know, the Bills don't have 80% vaccinated or whatever it is, and they're going to be like out of the league, not out of the league, but they're all going to be like sat down. And we've had pockets of guys that have gotten COVID and had to be sat down, but we could be next. It could be, right? I mean, we got 4 games left, and it could be game 3 when all of a sudden we lose 6 guys, 7 guys. And what's interesting about that is Sean McVay came out today and said it doesn't make sense. All these guys, and I don't know what the number is on the Rams. It's a lot. A lot of their players have COVID, and they're on the COVID list, the injured reserve list. So they literally they have COVID. They didn't just test positive and then test negative. But he said all of our players that have COVID are fully vaxxed. And he's like, I'm confused. I don't understand how we got here. For me, it's about the testing. And I said this to you 6 months ago. And then this was when the Cole Beasley thing was going on. They need to test everybody every day. And I know it's expensive. I know that it's a huge expense for the league. They need to test. And that's what Cole originally was saying. And then it totally got blown up bad. And he like threw gas on the fire, which didn't help. But they need to test every single player every single day. And that's the only way that you're going to stop a vaxxed player, if he's got COVID and nobody knows it for 5 days, from spreading it to 4 other vaxxed players, right? What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
what are your concerns
to be
going
honest,
forward?
I don't know. Like, it's so confusing because we just don't have answers. And you feel like after almost 2 years, because really when we first heard about COVID, now it was in December. So it's almost 2 years, 2 full years now that we've been dealing and hearing about COVID and kind of with these the questions. And so there's so many answers that we still don't have. And now, you know, we thought we had to figure it out with masks, and we thought we had to figure it out with whatever mandates and vaccinations and social distancing and all this stuff. And, you know, and it's still not, there just aren't answers.
Right.
So the concerning part is, like you said, the Buffalo Bills are healthy right now. They could be next. It could be we make it to the playoffs, and then it's the week before the AFC Championship game, and then Josh and 6 guys on offense and 5 guys on defense goes out with COVID. And it's like, what the heck? You know, so it's that's the concerning part for me. But as far as where we are, it's like, look, the league went into this year with the understanding that, hey, we're not going to reschedule games. We're not canceling games. If your team is affected by it, your team is affected by it, just like a regular injury or sickness. And I guess it's the new norm. So are we really the deepest team in the league like we thought we were? Because this is if this is how the season's going to go for the rest of the season, we're about to find out. Yeah.
Trig says, hey, Joe, I don't need that on my mind right now. He's talking to both of us at this point, because
we can keep it. We're gonna stay positive and test negative out here. We can keep that move.
I think the only answer is to literally test every day. I think that's the only thing that they can do, in my opinion, to assure or ensure spread, like mass spreading amongst the teams. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. It's a scary situation to be in, not because I'm fearful that people are going to, succumb or pass from COVID. It's just a scary situation as a fan. I mean, for the Rams right now, Baker Mayfield and Kevin Stefanski both have COVID for the Browns right now. Like, it's right. Baker Mayfield ain't playing football this week, and they're in the hunt. Like, they're like, Lamar is out for several weeks. They have an opportunity to take that division, and like now their quarterback's done. So
no, they don't have that chance. They don't have that chance. Come on, Joe. Like, let's be honest on the show, man. Come on.
I'm gonna do the read, and then we can move on to the Panthers. But ladies and gentlemen, you are tuned into the Hump Day Hotline on the Buffalo Rumblings vidcast and podcast network, brought to you by the Market Dominator. Who is the Market Dominator? Well, the Market Dominator is my and Spence's very good friend, John Spazcheck. John is a real estate agent and with Keller Williams Realty. And a lot of people don't know this unless they listen to my show, because I say it all the time. Keller Williams is the largest real estate brokerage in the entire world, which is unbelievable. But here's the thing. You want to be on a good team. Everywhere you go, you want to root for a good team. You want to be on the winning team. If you're playing, you want to be on the winning team. If you're buying a house or selling a house, you want to be on the winning team. And John's team, the Market Dominator team, is the best team in Buffalo. If you're looking to buy a home, trust John. His team is going to walk you through it. He's going to help you with the inspections. He's going to alert you to things in the basement, cracks in the basement. If there's water coming in, he's going to ask the owner and the other agent questions that they don't want to be asked. And if you're selling a home, he's going to help you maximize the value of your house. Do me a favor. Do Spence a favor. Do what I did. Call John. Call the Market Dominator, 716-570-3298. That number again, 716-570-3298. You can also reach him on Twitter. He is Bills Mafia. His handle is @YourEliteBroker. And John, you're the man. Love you, bro. Thanks for hanging out with me this weekend and taking me to the Buccaneers game. Love you.
John is the man. John is absolutely the man. I love John.
Yep. So the Panthers, we get to see here we go. Go ahead. You want to read that?
Well, Matt says we have undersized linebackers and the D-line lacks push. Edmonds taking bad angles over pursuit. It's obvious why we give up long runs. How you feel about that?
Yes. I don't know. John talked about it on your show. He talked about it on my show, and then he repeated himself on your show last night. The defensive linemen, specifically the ends, have no creative moves. They just seem to push, and that's all they seem to do. And there's nothing that they're doing to mix up, toss up, sidestep, or get the offensive lineman to kind of guess on what's about to happen. And the Buffalo Bills have had an over pursuing defense as long as I've been alive. It goes right up there with, we just can't seem to cover tight ends. It's those two things just seem to be true about the Buffalo Bills. And it's happened a lot this year, where it happened on the Damian Harris run. Micah Hyde and Tremaine over pursue, and he just cuts it back inside and like evades him and takes off for pay dirt. I don't know how you feel about it, but I agree with that. And to me, whether it's a lack of preparation, whether it's a lack of just game readiness, I don't know what not being taught. I don't know. I don't know how you fix it. Coaching, like, how do you get people to stay in their gaps? How do you wait until the second to last series against the New England Patriots that are crushing you with the ground game, and they've only thrown the ball 3 times? How do you wait until the end of the game to tell Matt Milano to shoot the gap? Hey, this is what I want you to do. Shoot the gap. And he does it, and he starts blowing their offense up. Where was that in the second quarter?
Well, but here's the thing. Okay, you're right. But here's the thing with that. They still only gave up 14 points. Like, I'm not mad at Frazier. I'm not mad at the defense. So, like, even like, I hear you. They were giving up rushing, but really, you can't take a play out of it. But really, when you look at, besides that big run play, they were playing good defense. They held those guys at 3.4 yards per carry. Besides that big run.
You're talking about the Bucs? You're talking about the Patriots?
The Patriots game.
Okay.
The Patriots game. So, like, because you were talking about when, like, shoot that gap. So you're right. They made an adjustment that worked. But the thing is, still throughout the game, besides that run and maybe one more run, I wasn't upset at all about the Patriots game on defense.
It was Ramondre
like, zero.
Stevenson. Ramondre, when Damian Harris got hurt, Ramondre was ripping off 6-yard chunks. Like, he was falling forward 6 yards. It was just like every time he got the ball in his hands, and that's when they started shooting the gap. About a quarter later, it was like, well, we better do something about this. What's getting lost in all of this is how good the defensive backs have played with the absence of Tre'Davious White, even in that game on Sunday. And that's sad, right? Because Dane Jackson played well. Levi Wallace played well. Micah and Jordan played well in that football game. For the most part, so did Taron Johnson. So I don't know whose assignment Brashard Perriman was. I have a guess that Perriman was in the slot and he was Terran's guy and he got rubbed, but I haven't watched it back, so I don't know. Somebody in the comment section probably has seen it and watched it. Maybe you know.
It was Johnson. It was Johnson, and that's and I've been quiet. You know me. Normally, I talk about Tremaine hate.
Yep.
I've been quiet. It wasn't Tremaine's assignment, but I'm not pounding the table for him this time. Like, it's one of those things where this week I'm not coming with excuses for the team. Like, at this point, it's like everybody on the team knows I got their backs. They know I love them. I love Jordan. I love Tremaine. I love everybody. But what it comes down to is like, look, guys, I need some wins, man. Like, I can put myself out there a lot, but regardless of who's missed assignment, regardless of how it happened, regardless, I need 4 quarters of good play. And I'm not mad at the defense. The defense has done their job all season, but we need good play for 4 quarters from all 3 phases. All 3 phases, and we haven't seen that. So this week, I'm sorry, I'm not out here screaming bodies. I'm not out here because I need Sunday. I need to see a change. I need to see something different. So speaking of this Sunday, your guy's back. Mm-hmm. I'm back. He's back. He's back, and it was a short moment that he was back. But you know what? And then reality was glorious came, I'm sure it was. And then reality set in. And what's funny about that is he's been extremely humble in the podium. I was surprised to see him this week, just being very kind of like, I don't know what your guys' expectations were, but I came to the team in the middle of the season, and the team wasn't very good to be like, we weren't playing well. It's not like I'm going to show up and all of a sudden like we're going to make the playoffs. It's been a very different Cam Newton this time around, almost a humbled Cam Newton, if you follow that sort of logic. But yeah, well, so I said when he was signed that obviously I was happy for him to be back, and I was happy that he got a contract that I felt like not necessarily that he deserves due to talent at the moment. Like, I don't think if you're signing a guy to be your guy, right? If we didn't have Josh, I don't want them to sign Cam Newton to that contract, right? Because I don't think Cam has it anymore. But for the way they did him as an organization when they cut him, and then so I was happy for Cam. Yeah. And his first game back was out here, and I was in the building. Oh, were you? Against the Cardinals. Yeah. And like, he wasn't supposed to play. The coach is like, yeah, no, he just signed. He'll be dressed, but we won't play him. But man, he came in at the goal line. First play, touched the ball, ran it in for a touchdown. Then next drive later, he comes in. They get him in the red zone, like the 8-yard line, throws a dart, like throws a touchdown. And I'm just like losing my mind. So it was great for me. Fast forward now, this Sunday, the Buffalo Bills unquestionably have to dominate Cam Newton. The way this game is supposed to look is the way the second game against the Patriots looked last year. Yeah. And we cannot allow Cam to come out there and run and do all of this stuff. We can't, like, because the thing is that he still has that. He might not have it where he's going to rip off 40-yard runs on you, but he can still rip off a 15 to 25. And trust me, those things add up. Yep. So yeah, we need to watch him. My girl Pam is in the comments, said that he's obnoxious and cocky. He is not, and I'm not about to. No, Pam, come on, Pam, relax. Let's relax. Let's not get on my guy Cam. Let's talk about what's important, which is first the injury report. So today's injury report for practice: Mario Addison had a veteran rest day. Josh Allen foot injured. We'll get back to that in a second. Cole Beasley veteran rest day. Jerry Hughes' foot was limited. Tywan Jones' knee did not participate. He actually went out in that Bucs game. I'm not sure if he came back or not. I know that he came off the field after being on the ground for a while. Starla Tulele had the surprise toe injury last week and was limited today. Emmanuel Sanders' knee did not participate. Sprained knee. I've heard different things just through the rumor mill about the severity of that. And then Tommy Sweeney, hip limited. And this is what I would say about the Josh Allen thing. So Josh Allen was spotted last night. You can see him down there with Britt at the performance of Hamilton. And apparently he did not, if you get on Twitter, he did not have a walking boot on, nor was he limping. So they have said that it's a minor foot sprain or a minor turf toe, something to that effect. But the fact that he was out last night, right, I guess doesn't mean much. I mean, I'm sure that a walking boot doesn't go good with a tuxedo. Can we start there? That's where I was going to go. Like, yeah, I get it. But he was actually sitting down watching Hamilton. He wasn't like, he didn't have to run. He's got to walk upstairs, though. He's still got to walk around, get out of the car, walk down the street, right? I'm sure they have a secret elevator out there for those guys, man. Like, come on. But I know that's a joke there, but seriously, I don't think the pitcher. I don't think it's a major injury, so I think he's still going to play. I think but I think it's something to be mindful of. So the couple of things that we saw this past Sunday that made everybody happy. He's back to old Josh, 100 yards in the ground.
Right,
I don't want to see that much. But we felt good to get it. Don't be surprised if they dial that back a little bit just because of his foot.
So let's pivot and talk about worst case scenario. Not worst case, but bad case scenario. Josh doesn't play. And there's a lot of people calling for Josh. Somebody put it in the comment section, let him rest this week just because we're playing the Panthers. And I've got a lot of faith in Mitch Trubisky. Like, I think that Mitch is probably a solid quarterback behind this offensive line with this offensive coordinator and these weapons. He could probably do well. This team is better than the Chicago offense was. Maybe not the offensive line. Maybe it is. I don't know. Who knows? I don't want to split hairs. Where are you at on just that concept? What if we get Mitch Trubisky this week?
If we get Mitch Trubisky, I mean, that's the reason why you sign Mitch Trubisky, because in my opinion, we have the best backup situation in the league. If not the best, it's the second best. I think it's the best.
Yeah.
So then you look at the comments and the people who are saying, you know what? No, let Josh rest up, let him heal up. Here's the thing. I thought we were absolutely going to dominate with Josh Allen when we played against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who is a worse team than the Panthers. The Panthers have one of the best defenses in the league, and I don't know if everybody's aware of the type of team that we're actually going to play. I know that Cam is there, so the offense doesn't look like it's as hot, and Christian McCaffrey had some injuries, and so I know the team has been beat up to the point where they don't have the record. But I'm going to just tell you that defense still knows what they're doing.
Oh yeah,
they're hungry. They're ball hawks. They hit hard. They're fast. So if Josh Allen can play, we need every single W we can get. No hate to my man Mitch Trubisky. I was ecstatic when we signed him. I'm telling you, in my mind, when we signed Mitch Trubisky, I'm like, oh, that's it. We're going to the Super Bowl. Not because we had him as a backup quarterback, but because to me, it showed how aggressive Brandon Beane was being by saying, look, we can't afford to have Jake Fromm back there if Josh goes down, and we want to get to the Super Bowl. So in my mind, yes, now it's time for Josh to just not get injured. we don't even need to have those questions. We need Josh to play.
Yeah, Trigg says no. If Allen can play, let him play. Daniel Gowers comes and says can't take Carolina lightly. Play Josh if he's good to go. And then Amanda also says if Josh can play, he's going to play. Josh is, in my opinion, I mean, he was pretty frank. They're taking every foot you're looking at. I wasn't coming out under no circumstances.
Under no circumstances.
There was no circumstance where I was coming out of that game. So you got to think that he's going to have a say about it. You just wonder at what point do the doctors have the ability, because they sit people down all the time, right? You go out, you test it, and the doctors look at you, they look at your run, they look at you do stuff. But quarterbacks play hurt probably more than any other position when you think about just small things. The difference is the other quarterbacks in the league aren't Josh Allen, Lamar, Josh, right? Kyler Murray. These guys played the position a lot different. Even Pat Mahomes played the position a lot different. So this football game, obviously no Christian McCaffrey. Cam Newton is probably going to be the quarterback. They've been spelling him with the backup. Can't remember his name. They've been sharing reps when the backup's been healthy. Not 50-50.
I'm sorry.
Whoever the backup is in Carolina, they were
PJ.
Yeah, huh?
PJ, you talking about PJ Walker?
Yeah, they've been splitting reps as far, if I'm not mistaken, like 25-75 or something like that. There's just been a little bit of a mix. So I'm not sure necessarily
nice.
I'm not sure he should be starting. I'm not sure what to necessarily expect. Well, sounds like you know more. So tell us what are we going to see? What does PJ Walker look like versus Cam? Because I literally have not caught a single Panthers game this year.
PJ can throw the ball, and he's accurate, and he's exciting to watch, and he gets the ball to the open man. He takes what the defense gives him every single time. He's not a perfect quarterback, or else he would be a superstar, but he has what it takes to compete every week. He can win a game. Right now, I don't think Cam has what it takes physically to really run the offense.
Right.
PJ does.
Right.
PJ absolutely. Even when they were when they came and played against the Cardinals, and for the time that they had PJ in there, the offense was going up and down the field, just up and down the field.
Mm-hmm.
They put Cam in just as like a wild card type thing, and it worked. It worked, and they actually beat the Cardinals, who's right now, I think now they're tied for the best record in the league.
Right.
They had the best record in the league for all of these weeks, and they came out here and beat the Cardinals. So what I'm saying is, Bills fans, don't just sleep on them. Their defense is. Master Park in the comments says PJ Walker or Tyrod Taylor. I think that's okay comparison, I think at this moment I would give the edge to PJ. He
Mm.
has a lot more. He does a lot more with his arm than I've seen Tyrod do. Besides that first year when we had Tyrod with Sammy and
Yeah.
we had a
Robert
couple.
Woods.
He had a couple long throws there.
Bobby Trees and Marquise Goodwin, and he had
Yeah.
Shady. He had Charles Clay and Talking Buffalo podcast, which is actually Pat Moran. And Pat, thank you so much for filling in for Jay Spence last week and being a part of the show.
Sure.
Appreciate you. Trubisky was too valuable to trade to the Washington football team at the deadline. Bill should be confident in him to beat a mediocre Carolina team at home if Allen isn't at least close to 100%. We need Allen against the Pats. And I think that's what it comes down to, right? I mean, how close is Allen? Do you play him if it's a turf toe and have him aggravate? Because was it Mahomes that was aggravated by a turf toe last year in the Super Bowl, right? Did he get turf toe against the Buffalo Bills?
Or he had turf toe prior to that because he actually sat out the game against the Cleveland Browns.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, so he had it, and it was. I guess it does depend on the severity of the injury. My thing is, if Josh Allen is injured, you don't play him.
Right.
If he's healthy enough to play, you play the guy that is the second. He's the second most expensive quarterback in the league.
Right.
You play him.
For sure. Jessica Tennis, do you guys think Sanders may make this offense worse? Worse is a tough word. So I don't think he makes this offense worse. However, Gabe Davis, you saw it in the second half, and that's where it's weird because you're not sure if what we saw was Gabe Davis, was he a part of the reason that happened, or was he just a benefactor of it happening? Whatever happened in that second. Now, there was the gut play, right? There was the heart play where he catches the ball on fourth down, retreats, turns around, comes back, and plows through the guy to get the first down, which he doesn't get that first down. The Bills don't complete the comeback more than likely. Where are you at on this? Do you want to see more Gabe Davis and less Emmanuel Sanders, or do you think it's Emmanuel still probably better?
Well, first, just to answer the question, no, I don't think Sanders makes this offense worse. I think
that's a hard way to say it.
Yeah, I think he was an upgrade over John Brown that we had last year, and John Brown played a major role in this offense. So I love John. Shout out to John Brown, but I think Sanders is an upgrade to that. I think what we're seeing when it comes to the Emmanuel Sanders and Gabriel Davis debate, I think what it really is coming down to right now for me when I watch those guys is that right now Josh has a year under his belt with Gabriel Davis, and he already has a chemistry with him that those guys, and you and I saw it in person, up close and personal at the playoff game last year, where they just have a chemistry that while it seems like Emmanuel Sanders started off the season hot, he had a couple games where he was the best receiver. It still just doesn't seem like they kind of connect the same way Josh does with Gabriel Davis or same way he does with Stephon Diggs. But I'm not at all in any way saying that Emmanuel Sanders should not be in the lineup if he's healthy. He's the guy, like you absolutely want him and Stephon Diggs on the field together for the reason of both those guys can do similar things. Now, Stephon Diggs is he's so much better. Yeah. But Emmanuel Sanders still has the skill and the talent to do a lot of the things that Stephon Diggs can do, which gives the defenses problems. Gabriel Davis is good. He's really good, but he's not keeping defenses up at night. You put a healthy Emmanuel Sanders and Stephon Diggs on the field with Josh Allen getting them the ball with Beasley in the slot when he's healthy. That makes defenses worry. Right. Gabriel Davis, he's a benefactor, and I think you said it perfectly. He benefits from playing with a top 3 quarterback in the league, and B, when Sanders isn't in, okay, I'm gonna take those snaps too. So yeah, I just think he benefits, but no, you absolutely go into the same way we talk about with fantasy. You draft your studs, you play your studs. You bring these guys in from at the beginning of the season as your 1 and 2 guys. You play them as your 1 and 2 guys. Yeah, we started the show talking about just the difference in the. I'm going to ask you one last question, and we'll wrap this thing up, and I'll give you my opinion as well. Talking about the difference between the offense in the first half of that Bucs game and the second half. And I guess the question is which offense do you think you're going to see in this football game? Is it okay? I know where that's the answer. I know that's the. I know where your heart is. I know what your heart wants to see, but I think your intellect and I'm in the same place. I think what we've seen this year is what we're going to see. Yep, I think we are who we are. I think we are who we think we are. That's exact. And I know you just caught the reference there. I just really think that as much as we want this team to be an air it out, Let Josh Allen cook. Like as much as we want to see that, I really do think that Sean McDermott, whether it's Sean McDermott or whether it's Dayball or whether it's Terry or whether it's Brandon Beane, I don't know who it is, but somebody in that organization really finds it very important to run the ball and be a balanced offense. Unfortunately, we're just not able to be balanced like that this year. So
right.
No, what I want to see, what I think we're going to see is exactly what we've seen this entire season.
I'm in the exact same boat. You want to wrap this thing up?
Let's get it. I know you're tired, man. Let's get it.
I'm good. I mean, we go the last 5 minutes. It's 4 minutes. It's not. Yeah, I think we've hit all of our topics though, as far as what we wanted to hit tonight. But
yeah.
But ladies and gentlemen, you have been tuned into the Hump Day Hotline, brought to you by the Market Dominator on the Buffalo Rumblings vidcast and podcast network. It's been super great to have you. We love you guys and appreciate all the people that are in the comment section, all the usuals, and even the newbies. There's some names in here I haven't seen before, but appreciate you guys. And it's just good being back in the saddle with you, bro.
Yeah. We got 4 weeks left in playoffs.
4 weeks, hopefully 4. We got 4 weeks left for sure, and yes, and hopefully we make them. I mean, I was surprised for them to still be in the 7 seed after losing to the Buccaneers. So that was, to me, that was a bonus, right? So
yeah, I was emotional. I was pissed off, and I tweeted out, I was like, "They're not in the playoffs. If the playoffs started today, they're out of it." I was so mad, and everybody kept getting me, "You're wrong." I'm like, "I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry."
It's so funny. That's what I totally get it. And then, so I mean, do they need to win out to make the playoffs? Probably not. They can probably lose one to make the playoffs. They need to win out to win the East. And to me, let's make some of the road to the Super Bowl go through Buffalo, right? I mean, we're always going to be better at home. But so good to have, as I was saying, so good to have. I think. Well,
I'm just saying. Why
do you got to do that to me?
I'm sorry. It's time to go. I'm sorry.
Why do you got to do that? Why do you got to do that to me?
Because it's just real. Think about how many games we lost the season opener at home. We lost against the Patriots at home. We lost, so I'm just saying, like, are we better at home?
Are we good on the road?
You get what I'm saying? It's just like, are we the team that we really wanted to be this year?
Right.
We'll save that, we'll save that thought, and y'all can catch up with Joe on.
We'll save it for next week.
Your time to shine and chop up and all that stuff. We can talk about it later on this week. But no, I don't think we are who we wanted the team to be this year, man. And it's depressing. It's really depressing.
I hear you. Well, be ready so there will be no time to shine this week. I've got Christmas services that I will be singing at. So if you're in Buffalo and you want to catch some holiday cheer, Life Church Buffalo is going to be having Christmas services this weekend at 4:30 and 6 o'clock, both Saturday and Sunday. So Saturday, I will be singing my little heart out at the Christmas services at Life Church Buffalo. So it's in West Seneca. So if you're looking for some festive activities, feel free to come out. But so Food for Thought Friday with Nate Geary and Bruce exclusive at 9 o'clock. And then your show, The Chop Up, will be on Saturday at 9 o'clock with Sturls and Kristen and Angelina. And then, of course, the Overreaction postgame show will be coming to you live on Sunday postgame at 9 o'clock. But for myself, for Jay Spence, this has been the Hump Day Hotline, brought to you by the Market Dominator on the Buffalo Rumblings vidcast network. Love you guys. Go Bills.
Go Bills.